New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Michelle Wadleigh here.
Rev Elzia right here.
And this is New Thought Today for today, January 27, 2026. Our special guest is Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh, also known as Rev Jersey Girl, and no stranger to the New Thought Media Network. You may even have noticed her picture in the intro video to this program. So that's how highly esteemed you are to us, and that's how much we love and honor when you get a chance to be with us and get a chance to be on this show with us. So, Michelle, do let everybody know, give everybody at home a little bit of an intro. What do we need to know about you to get started on this conversation today?
Well, I will say I am a lifelong metaphysician. I've never been anything else. So that's the sensibility I bring. My world right now is all under one banner because we have focused all of our attentions. I say we being my staff and I. So everything's under michellewadleigh.com. If you want to check out any of my offerings, I am dedicated to up-leveling the emotional health of the planet. Sounds pretty lofty, but that's what I'm here to do. So when someone is suffering and they're looking for tools and skills, that's what I'm here to do. And I travel the country doing retreats and classes, both online and in person. You want to have me come in to facilitate something, I'm there for you with the right agreement. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. My thing is emotional health. That's what I'm here for, through the application of metaphysical principles.
Yes. And I think that's what I love so much is that you had a long and wondrous career and an inspiring career as a pulpit minister. But when it was time to switch, you didn't walk away from the philosophy. You didn't walk away from the principles. You incorporated them in a new way. And I've got both of your books here on my shelf.
Oh, nice. I love that.
The Forgiveness book and the Shadow book.
May they be on everyone's shelves.
And there's a new book coming, but we'll talk about that maybe later or maybe next show. But I would love to hear a little bit. I think the real question is, was there a defining moment? Was there something that really said, wow, I've got to go in this direction of shadow work and forgiveness work. I cannot do anything else but move in this direction. As you were saying, emotional health.
Okay, I'm sorry that I didn't understand that question. So I came out of a family and a life situation that I had two choices: to succumb and suffer, or to apply things I had learned and rise above them. And so I chose to rise above. Not an easy path, not a quick path. However, at this lovely, ripe lifetime of 68 years alive in my life, I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm happy most of the time, like 99.9% of the time. I have loving relationships. I am developing a company that is being successful. I'm in my flow. I love working. And all of that is because every time was met with an emotional challenge, I faced it.
Mm.
And that's what I see a lot of people that don't know that they have options. So they live life by default instead of by design, and you don't have to. So my defining moment was my own pain. My pain. And when I became actually probably when I became a mother, it became really important. But when I became a single mom and I was doing that alone, that was probably one of the most critical defining moments because I I wanted to do right by my son. So it was grow or fail. And I didn't want to fail him or my other sons. And I certainly never want to fail my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren to remember they can think I'm kooky, they could think anything they want, as long as they depend upon me to be in integrity, to be loving, to be compassionate, and to be accepting. And who couldn't use a lot more of that in the world?
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's key because, when you look around now and you look at uh, what's needed to survive, or forget what's needed just to stay present, uh, those are the keys to know that no matter what, someone's there to hold your hand, someone's there to give you some information, and then, like you said, they're a choice,
yeah,
but
yeah,
to be that anchor is key.
yeah. And I gotta say, in entering into a lot of quantum studies right now, no, I do not know the true quantum science of things. But I do believe in the intersection of quantum with consciousness and metaphysics, and I'm very aware that numerous um, quantum physicists think we're all full of shit. That one has nothing to do with the other. They don't. They don't necessarily believe that quantum and consciousness intersect. They some of them don't, and I don't believe it because I'm seeing the impact. I'm applying it. I'm seeing the impact, and so what? Wait, there was something you said, Z, that made me. I guess what I'm saying is there's always a refining of our tools and skills so that we have greater impact on the world. And I know the three of us at least would completely agree about what are we going to do about this insanity that we're seeing. And we have to reach for every tool and skill we have in the book. Everything. From being emotionally healthy ourselves to then knowing how who we are being impacts the world around us. It's a very important it's critical. It's a critical.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you bring up a really, really good point because I've been I've been rather vocal the last handful of days on social media, on a lot of different threads, because I'm dumbfounded how such a large portion of our country can think the way they do right now. And I met one today that just, my God, the level of aggression and the desire this person has to see me dead, and we don't know each other. I mean, we've never met, and they're hiding behind an account. They wish that I would die of cancer the day before a loved one was married. This is a quote that somebody left on a comment, and I'm like, wow, I cannot in any way, shape, or form begin to try to match that level of aggression, and I don't want to. But it led me to that question of, how hurt is this part? Like, what type of pain have you had to traverse? Have you not been able to process? Have you not been able to heal?
Right.
And what level of just absolute pain and suffering have you had to walk through to get to the point where you think that's an acceptable way to argue your point with someone you don't know?
And my response to that is sadness. It feels,
yeah,
that's,
Yeah.
and I facilitate a women's group, and we met last night, and I had to admit to them, I'm pretty good at what I do. I am. I'm pretty good at what I do, and I'm pretty good at managing the being that I am. But I would be lying right now if I didn't tell you. And if I actually were to start talking about it, I could start getting teary right away. So I'm going to hold it off. But I'm so sad. I'm sad for us. I'm sad for our country. I'm sad for the split. I'm sad for the immigrants. I'm even sad for the ICE agents who have been duped into this righteous activity. And I guarantee, I can almost guarantee, because I know some of these people are not real trained officers, and now they're going to have to live with what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And no one, I don't think they think about that before they go in. They're getting paid a lot of money. They're getting paid a lot of money to do what they're doing. And they get, if my information is correct, from someone who has a family member, her family member, besides the money they got, which was like $180,000 a year, they got a $60,000 signing bonus to become an ICE agent. And he was a retired cop. That's the kind of money. So I get that could be blinding. But I also know now he's training some people, but they don't get all the training they need. So now you got somebody without the training. You put a gun in their hands. You get them feel threatened, even if it's not logically feeling threatened. You get them feeling threatened, and now they've taken a life. And now they have to live with that.
Right.
So I do have compassion for that person also. I do. And then the families and then those who witnessed it. So much to, and while I haven't been as verbal as you have in this instance, because I've been trying to hold on to delivering my message, underneath there's a part of me that is seething. Seething, I have to say.
Yeah.
God bless the Prime Minister of Canada, an intelligent, well-spoken, clear-headed delivery. It was like, oh, is that what we're supposed to sound like? Because it's been,
the funny thing is, not ha funny, but he funny, is that when you look around and you see the sheer zombie-ness of some of the people that are there, they have been zombie-tized, if that's such a word, and they are not questioning anything. They're not using any logic, nor compassion, nor insight. They're just, like robots. And as you said, at one point, when the spell, if you will, wears off, they're going to snap out of it, and then they're going to be traumatized. And we already know that the current system is not equipped or not willing to deal with trauma, because we see it with our armed forces, who they're not getting support. So who knows what we're creating when this thing stops and these young men and women are left to fend on their own. We're not going to need that many agents forever.
Well, we don't need them now.
True. But they're going to need, I'm tagging with what Elzia is saying here. They're going to need us. And they're going to need the work that you're championing right now, Michelle, the shadow work and the forgiveness work. When they do wake up, when this does end, when we do get to the other side, so many of these people, and I saw a video this week of a line of agents, and it's debatable whether this is made up or whether it was a, but the line is, and they're attributing it to one of these people, saying this is kind of like Call of Duty. Pretty cool, huh? And so whether it's made up or not, I have to believe there is that consciousness happening within these agents that they look at this as if it's a video game. And I've been playing Call of Duty forever, they think, and I can handle, but they don't know what they don't know about the real life implications, whether they actually pull a trigger or whether they're just part of the scrum, because only one, maybe two guys pulled the trigger on Alex this past weekend, but the other 7 or 8 of them also have to live with the fact that they're part of that. They had hands on him, and they couldn't stop it, even if and I have to believe that some of them did not want it to go that far.
I think that was probably true even back with George Floyd.
Yeah. Right.
Which was the first global awakening we had in that moment for how bad it can be. I mean, if you remember, there were worldwide demonstrations everywhere. They were everywhere. The fact, come on, please. The fact that we lost how many children in the Sandy Hook schools, and we haven't done something about that?
Yeah.
Come on. Pathetic. The fucking... Ooh. Sorry. That's what happens when I go down this road. The Jersey girl comes out. The fact that the IRA help the
DHS, ICE,
no, the gun, the
NRA.
Thank you. The fact that the
NRA.
What Z?
No, I was saying the NRA. Yeah, I was.
The fact that they have the power over Congress.
On their statement they put out going against this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What do they have? What do they have? Collars around Congress? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. All of them, Democrats and Republicans alike. The fact that you give in to that. This is why I don't look at it very often. This is what happens.
I have found a really, really good channel for that anger.
Okay.
You call your representative and your senator. We live in Colorado, so my representative is already signed on to the bill, the initiative to impeach Kristi Noem. Both of our senators are already signed on. We have a few representatives like Lauren Boebert, and I'm calling her daily, and
daily?
every day. And every day, I'm very clear. This is Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski. I have not seen your name added to that list, and until you do, or your staff are going to have to listen to me on your phone message every day until you do. And once you do, then I'll stop. But until then, and I try to be impassioned without being violent. Without being aggressive, without saying I hope you get cancer or any of the things that are being said to people out there, but to be forcefully passionate that this has got to stop. I found myself saying it's not safe to be an American right now.
I'm living on the East Coast. I have our spiritual community is lovely, a lovely blend of people of colors and nationalities. I love it. I love it. And some of them are afraid. They're afraid. They're walking around afraid. And well, now that fear is not only for people of color, evidently, but they are mostly afraid because they know they're still the target. They know they're the target.
Yep. Michelle, you and I both spend quite a bit of time on Substack, and you have a Substack channel, and folks, please do go like, share, subscribe to Reverend Michelle's Substack. It's going across the bottom of your screen. But I forget which of the people I follow, but they wrote an article that says that line has been crossed from black to white. And when it was Black Lives Matter, and when it was Black Lives, well, we might demonstrate, we might donate some money, and yada yada yada. But now we have two instances in rapid succession of the government killing white folk, and I have heard from people on the ground, ministerial students that live in the Twin Cities, of they're afraid to go out. White people are now afraid to go out into the streets. It would be easy to say, well, yeah, it's about time you felt what everybody else has felt in the country for a while, but this fear has crossed that barrier.
Yeah.
And I know Elzia wants to jump in here, so I'm going to give him the floor, because that fear barrier has jumped and crossed that color line.
Yeah, and it's sad that it has taken this for a large majority of the people to wake up, right? I mean, it's not ubiquitous because some people don't know, but from the Black community, when you think about just the Tuskegee experiment alone, that's the one we know about, where they were injecting African Americans with syphilis just to see what would happen. Now, if you have a government that it's hard for you to begin to trust anything they say. I mean, it is a case where you have to earn your trust. And that's why this teaching is so good in the fact various situations and environments that allow you to discern what's going on. And I think right now we're at a discernment point for everyone that says, is this the kind of government we want, or the kind of leadership we want, or is there other options? And let's begin to come together in this sea of oneness to figure out what that is.
I don't need to live in an atmosphere where I'm always in agreement with everybody. But I would at least like an agreement that says, me not liking you doesn't give me license to kill you.
Right.
Now, that's a really low bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a low bar. And I think it's important that we don't, I don't think we're ever going to have a fully kumbaya kind of country because of the way we've come together and way we raped the land and the genocide on this land alone, and the fact that we turn our back to the result, okay, maybe it was, our ancestors that did it. Maybe it's not falling upon us directly, but I think we're not questioning the lineage. We're not questioning it. So our lineage is becoming our legacy because we're not stopping it. And that's frightening. I mean, I look at my grandchildren, I think, God, what's the world they're inheriting? What is the world they're inheriting?
There are stories of Native American women being picked up by ICE.
Really?
Yep.
Well, if there was ever a true somebody who belonged here, wouldn't it be them?
Yep.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh.
And
but as you said earlier, Robert, this is the time for those who have eyes and ears to see and hear and begin to practice what oneness means, what compassion means, what reconciliation means. Because as you were saying earlier, Michelle, the world is not made on kumbaya. The world is made on dynamic tension. That's what keeps the planet spinning. That's what keeps the heart beating. But there is a harmony and balance that is not out to destroy the other piece of the diamond to keep the thing moving.
And I love how some people are just creating, the subcultures that are created. I know, Robert, you had some interest a while ago in some community type living situations. And, there are people who are actively choosing to be nomads, but nomads in community. And then there are people who are beginning more and more to live off grid, and to unplug from the system. Because those of us who are fully plugged in, we're blind. We're blind.
And I want to remind everybody watching, I think I can speak for the room that we do understand the power of new thought, the power of our mind, the power of our prayers, the power of a positive intention. We can't deny what's happening here. We can't sit here and just sing Kumbaya all day long and expect everything to change. In difficult times, they require difficult measures. And I'm consistently buoyed. I'm consistently optimistic when I look around and I see ministers and others that are willing to take a stand, that are willing to do what it takes. There's a story emerging in Minneapolis and St. Paul in the Twin Cities, and it's a ministerial student who is, for the most part, trying to remain anonymous, but is supporting a Ukrainian family. Husband and wife came over with their daughter and pet at the beginning of the Ukrainian war. So they've been living here in the United States for a number of years. They eventually brought the wife's husband or father and mother over. Her brother was killed in the war, in the front lines, fighting in the war. And this family has worked so hard to build a life here, which to me was always the American promise, right? That was the promise of America, was give us your tired and your poor and your huddled masses. And they've tried so hard. And the current government has made it almost impossible. Their visa renewal to stay in the country went from like $200 a person to over $2,100 a person. They're afraid to go out of their homes because they're not white. The immigration and the student is working with this family and with the immigration center to, number one, raise funds. And I'm going to give a big shout out to my friends at the Affiliated New Thought Network, because our board last week voted to use some of our discretionary funds to send to this family, to this Ukrainian family, to help them with these expenses. But the student is acting as the intermediary. When she goes to the immigrant center, they got to keep the doors locked, because if the door is unlocked, ICE is allowed to walk in. But if the door is locked, they can't come in. So she has to call ahead, and they sneak her in the back door so that she can help do the paperwork for this family who is only here trying to live the American dream. And I'm in the midst of these horrors, in the midst of these what in the hell type of stories. I'm reminded that New Thought does provide a perspective and a way forward and an opportunity for us to work together and bring forward that consciousness of oneness in a way like never before.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
This used to be a philosophy of convenience in some ways. And now I think it's becoming a philosophy, a mandate. We have to. We cannot continue to allow the suffering and the separation and the division and the hate to prosper.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
I'm going to go down that road.
Yes.
But folks, you know what? I look at the clock and it's time for us to take a quick break. So if you will, please indulge us. Let us say, let us share a little bit more about us. We're going to let Reverend Michelle take a sip of water and catch her breath. And we're all going to recenter so we can come back and share a little bit more about what's happening in the New Thought world today here on the New Thought Media Network. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
And now we're back with more of New Thought today here on the New Thought Media Network. Our guest, Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh, all the way from the New Jersey side of the country. And we've been having a really deep conversation. And as we were kind of getting to right before the break, folks, we want to remember, if you're wondering what you stumbled into here, we want to remember that we have to look at what is happening in the world in order to be able to cast a vision or share a vision or even hold a vision for what is possible. And that's really what we love to explore in the second half of our program here each week, is to look, invite our guests in to share a bit of their vision. We know New Thought can make an impact. We know this philosophy supports people. And Reverend Michelle, we'd love to hear from you a little bit. What do you see as that grand vision for where we're going? Because we can't stay where we are. We're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, thank you. I actually think that it's time for us to do more than we've ever done in a variety of ways. Literally, we got to... I'm not trying to sell my services. I want to be clear. I'm talking about understanding ourselves so well that we finally remove the triggers, the emotional triggers that have us engage the world in unhealthy ways. So as far as I'm concerned, it starts with the individual. So my first job is to get myself emotionally healthy so that I can show up. So that even if I'm not in agreement with somebody, I can still be in the conversation with them. I could still be in the same place. So for me, it always starts here first, clearing the vessel, us being the vessel. Then I believe that we as New Thought communities, we need to stay in community, lean into each other, depend upon each other. If you don't really have a spiritual community, create one, spark something, get people in healthy, loving, compassionate conversations so that we are so that we start to model that which we want to see. And I think we have to rev it up. We absolutely have to rev it up. I also think that's if you're a metaphysician and you haven't done any quantum studies, I think it's really helpful to add that, because there's something about the quantum process and understanding that brings a certain power to what you might normally call your faith. So this is the one last thing that I want to leave anyone listening with. And I know I got a little animated before, and I apologize for cussing, because when I'm not in my zone, right, I can be a little, get worked up. This is what I know. The world I want to live in cannot be generated from that energy I displayed before. Right. So my constant job all day, and I'm mostly on it I need to be in that energy. I need to emanate that vibration, and to know that wherever I go, I'm carrying that with me. Because if I'm choosing to be angry and judgmental and have a sense of superiority and righteousness, I am not generating what I want to see. We cannot. It's like when Einstein said that, you can't solve a problem, I think it was him, at the same level of the problem. So we can't generate a country of kindness and compassion walking around being angry and judgmental and superior. It doesn't work. So I say to everybody, lean in, find a community, learn to love yourself enough that you give other people permission to love themselves. Reach out, stay connected. Connection. For me, that's what I believe New Thought can do in a greater way.
Yeah, one thing. I've been studying Raymond Charles Barker a little bit lately. Friend of Ernest Holmes, and started the first church of religious science in New York. And I went to see his successor when I was living there, and it's very practical to me. And one thing he talked about was this thing about choice, right? You brought it up earlier, and he says indecision creates delay. But decisions create demonstration, right? If you make a decision, there's going to be a demonstration based on that, and it can't operate through a split mind. We have to be clear about what we're doing. If we are here as ministers, as practitioners, as students of this teaching, we have to be clear in our decisions. That decision, if we are clear, it will be known, because there will be a demonstration as a result of it. And if it's not clear, we'll see that, because there'll be these mixed emotions, if you will. And his thing was that it is the idea that is the switch. It is the decision that is the spiritual switch that cuts things on. And so that's what we have. We have to become spiritual switches into how to live, how to treat people, how to resolve conflict, how to help those, even if I'm mad at you, because I understand there is no separation. Whatever you're going through, eventually it's going to come back to me one way or another, directly or indirectly. And that's what this teaching is about, that there is one energy, one interrelated dynamic dance that's going on, and there's no place right now for wallflowers. Everybody got to dance.
Yep.
I recently wrote I write a lot of Substack posts, so I can't remember, but one of our colleagues responded to that when they were in their initial training in this philosophy, an instructor asked the class, how would you describe New Thought in one word? And what he shared was that for many in the class, they used a word like peace or love or similar words, but his word that came through was embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that in a number of conversations on social right now, that the new student, the people just walking in the door, just discovering this, whether it's through unity or religious science or the science of mind or any of the various branches of this New Thought philosophy, just when we're just finding it, we don't really get that embodiment piece. And it takes a really mature study and understanding and practice to get to the level of embodiment. I've had a few people push back at me over the last few months because I'm speaking about let's get out and do something. And one of the phrases that's come to me is, I'm not here so much to soothe the comfortable as I am here to shield the vulnerable. And for me, that's an embodiment of it. And I'd like to see more of us starting to really embody. And I wouldn't, you wouldn't be on this show, in my opinion, if you weren't already doing this. So it's not like a call to either of you. But I would like to see more people get out from behind, get out of the churches, get out of, don't worry so much about Sunday potluck. Why feed ourselves? Let's take that food out into the streets and feed the people that are marching or the people that are vulnerable communities. And how can we really embody these principles for those that need it the most?
Yeah. And your word embodiment to me is another word explaining what I was referring to before about being the vibration, because that is embodiment, and then emanating out from there, and having that like a natural transference that's then constantly happening. Yeah. I had a
embody. I just was going to say real quick about embodiment is that embodiment, I think one of the best examples for embodiment is reading about swimming and actually swimming. I can't really talk to you from a passionate, intelligent, compelling way about swimming if I've only watched a film or only read a book. It's only after I've had the experience. And that's what I think is happening. We have a lot of metaphysicians and people in general we have everything at our footsteps, our fingertips with the internet and all that. So they have lots of information and lots of theory and lots of rhetoric, but there's very few people that have had experience. And when you've had that experience of swimming, as opposed to somebody telling you about it, that embodiment gives you all they say is pool. They don't even say swim. They say pool, and you get all excited because you understand what the embodiment of that. And we have to translate that into helping people, resolving conflict, shielding people who are less fortunate, and teaching principles, as we know our teaching says, change your thinking and change your life.
You know, and if you don't want to march, don't. But don't bitch, moan, and complain about those who want to.
Right.
Don't make that wrong. You know, years ago, a number of years back, I forget how many years back now, one of our colleagues put out a call on the minister listserv to go to El Paso, to the detention center down there at the time. And I don't know why, but every morsel in my body said, I'm going. And I got money from somewhere because I didn't have the cash at the time. And someone donated it, and I went. And in the heat of the Texas El Paso heat, and I emphasize that because I almost passed out. We walked together with ministers and clergy from around the country showing up at that detention center. And I've had other things, but not that. Those kind of experiences change your life forever. It's like when I did a volunteer vacation in the Dominican Republic, helping to build with our hands, literally with our hands, carrying concrete and bending rebar at the time. I was young and fit at the time, and doing the work we had to do to help build. And these people had nothing. Don't complain to me. Don't complain to me unless you know what it's like to have a hole in the ground as your toilet, or you have to gather water in a rain bucket because there's not enough water. Like, until you've experienced third world countries, you have no right to complain about this, about your living conditions. Sorry. That's embodiment.
Yeah. Exactly. I want to do a couple of quick shout outs. Brother Wayne is with us as always, and inviting leaders to light the way. Yes, Wayne, I agree with that. And Robin Rice Olmsted, who's got a part of a couple of shows here on the New Thought Media Network, part of our family, says embodiment is a journey. And I think that's an important part of this to remember. We can't just walk in the door and say, turn it on and turn it off. We need to have experiences like you're describing, Michelle, going to the DR or going to El Paso or getting out into the world and being Wayne shares also in the world, but not of it. And really bringing who we are in consciousness to the everyday activities. Not just Sundays, not just Wednesdays, not just when our minister's looking, not just when there's been something emerging in my writing that I think is really important here too, is we have to make sure none of this is performative.
Yes.
Right. What we do here on a Tuesday afternoon for an hour, there's a little bit of performative here, but ultimately it comes from a deeper sense. And again, we're coming back to our favorite word today, embodiment. But not being from the performative side of our spirituality, but because this is what is, I cannot deny the call to go to El Paso or now to go to Minneapolis. And yeah, if you're not there to march, that's cool. Elzia says this quite often. Got to have somebody making sandwiches on the sidelines. Got to have somebody handing out those water bottles. But don't bitch because people are blowing whistles and disrupting. I had somebody say that they're so violent, so many whistling. I can't sleep because of the whistles. It's like, then get out there and whistle with them. Don't yell at them to stop the whistling. Can't count how many people I've asked this week how the boot leather tastes.
This whole idea of and this whole idea of thinking change and evolution and growth is painless, and I don't have to do anything, and it's comfortable, and that is by definition not what growth in change and transformation is. It is being uncomfortable. It is being disruptive, because you're waking out of this stupor or this state of comfort to realize and come aware that there's more than you thought it was. Yeah. Right. And you know, in some ways I'm trusting that this horrible set of events that have happened in the last couple of weeks is just that whistle, if you will, to the whole planet that says, you know, it in some ways it's a class. It's the haves and the have-nots almost. And we have to awaken to the idea that, look, we have a voice. We have power. We understand what it means to be afflicted. And we don't want anyone to feel that way. So we're coming together as a group of people, like-minded, high-minded, to come up with ways to embody this. As you said, Robert, I was going to say it, whether you're passing out water or whether you're making sandwiches or whether you giving somebody a ride home after they've spent the night doing whatever, there's a place for everybody in the oneness. And we have to remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to remember the people that make it all happen. So we're going to take another quick moment to thank our organizational sponsors, our individual donors, share a little bit of gratitude here. But please don't go away, folks. We're going to be right back. We've got more with Reverend Michelle and New Thought Today. We'll be right back after this message. Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. If you'd like to help make this movement go further, this network reach further, but by all means, please head on over to our website, ntmedia.org. Click on the donate button, and you'll get all the information you need there about how you can become part of our sustaining financial family. Thank you. All right, Michelle, before we totally run out of time here this morning or this afternoon, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you've got coming up. I'm personally in your forgiveness class, which is running right now. I got to do my homework between now and class time, but we'd love to hear a little bit more. And I know you've got some other things going on. I signed up for like everything you put out. So tell everybody else, though, what some of the things and how they can engage with your work.
Well, currently we do have the forgiveness course that you can still get in on. Recently, we just made it longer because people wanted it. So we responded. So it's now an 8-week class. We have a shadow class coming up. I am going to the West Coast right before Easter. I'll be at Seal Beach, Pacific Coast, CSL. I will be at the Sacramento Center on Easter. I'm doing something with Reverend Mitch Austin in
Grass Valley.
Thank you. For a second, I couldn't get it. While I'm out there, so I'm going to be out there playing around, running around, doing stuff. We are having a women's retreat at the end of October in Arizona, and I currently have a month. It's a group coaching, women only, and I almost want to apologize as soon as I say that, but there was a natural progression toward that. And it's called Dancing Wildly, and it's based on appreciative inquiry, and it's women, loving women, supporting each other, and finding our own inner empowerment. We have people in there who are brand spanking new, and we have ministers. We have the gamut. And so the exchange of energy and support is stunning. All of that stuff is on my Michelle Wadleigh website, except for the retreat. We haven't put out that announcement, but sign up for emails and sign up for the Substack for sure. Right now, I'm doing a whole series of articles on the shadow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now.
And I think I signed up for a one-day workshop on grief. Supporting people going through grief, and tell us about that a little bit too.
Yeah, so every month under the category of my organization called Professional Development, it's for practitioners, ministers, therapists, anybody in the healing elements. And what we do is every month we bring something that supports you being better at what you do, from listening to, oh my God, how you question, asking powerful questions. Next month is meeting resistance. But this month is about, I'm going to give you all a formula that I created years ago for a very powerful listening ritual for when someone has lost someone. But I'm playing this month with a friend and a colleague. Her name is Fran Watson. She is from Calgary, the Calgary Center, and she's going to bring some other grief conversation. And it's a really important conversation right now. It's a really important conversation because there's a lot of grieving going on. So with that, you get material, you get a live broadcast, you could be there, and then you get the recording. And you can get recordings of all the old ones. They've been very powerful, very powerful. One of the ones we did was on integrity. And it was a powerful conversation. And this is the second one we've done on listening. So we try to bring skills. We're not doing moral things. We're doing skill sets. How can we each be better at our jobs? And that's what happens once a month.
Beautiful. Looking forward to that one. I think, as you said, it's going to be a very, very important skill to have in the coming months and years. So, all right, folks, we have just about run out of time. Remember, you can learn more about all of what Michelle's doing over at michellewadleigh.com, but we end every week with our final thoughts. We're going to kick that over to Rev Z to get us started. My brother, Rev Z, final thoughts.
Let's begin to practice, study, and become aware of what oneness truly means. Because once we really understand that we're all connected, and as the old saying goes, we may have come over here on different ships, but we're all in the same boat right now, and we better come together, or there will be consequences of not realizing oneness.
Beautiful. Michelle?
I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to join Z, because the truth is, when you and I realize that we are connected, and there's only the idea of separation is only an illusion, you'll never want to harm another human. Because I watch a lot of bad movies. I will tell you right now, I watch bad movies. But when it comes to reality, I couldn't hurt a hair on the head of a fly. And that's because I know I'm one with all of you in every way possible.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. I think the word and the concept that sticks out the most for me today is community. Get in one, be a part of one, be a part of a few of them, whether virtual or in person. Get into community, because it is there where we really get to practice and embody what we're talking about. It's where we get to cut our teeth, if you will, on being human, is in community. So find one or more and be a good member of the community.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Folks, thanks for being with us today. Reverend Michelle, thank you so much for being here. I trust you'll come back again and again.
Always.
Always, exactly. Folks, we're going to get out of here for now. This is New Thought Today on the New Thought Media Network. Thanks for being with us. Please like, share, subscribe. Let your friends and family know what we're doing. But until next time, we want to wish you peace and absolute richest blessings. Bye now.
Bye.